Ra Holcomb here for the Boxing Voice. Pleasure to be speaking to Adam Smith again. How are you, Adam?
Very good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good.
Good Christmas, New Year, all of that?
Yeah, very good. Spent much of it actually at Pally with the darts, which I really enjoyed, and sort of splitting that between family time and darts time, and it was great. I was at the darts last night in the Premier League, some atmosphere there, and I think they're just sort of laying the grounds for tomorrow night, which will be tenfold. I think it's going to be fantastic here in Cardiff. Pleased to be back, love the city, love the Welsh people. I've had some amazing stories and times down here over the years, and we haven't been here in a long time, so it's nice to be back.
Absolutely. I mean, the atmosphere here just for the show weigh-in was electric.
It was, and I think that, you know, once you've got sort of, you know, local passion, it just, I was saying to Ben Shalom that, you know, when we go to Manchester or Newcastle or Birmingham or Glasgow, we have to do things like this. We have to get, you know, the fans involved. We have to, you know, give them access to the fighters they love, and I think that makes it really special. And just to have sort of big weeks or big nights out in every city will be fantastic. And yeah, I'm right for that. It was wonderful having them all here today, and of course there'll be more in the Motor Point tomorrow night, and hopefully huge amounts watching it on Sky Sports, because it's a great fight and it's a great card. You know, Savannah Shields could almost headline herself. It's brilliant having her over here. She sprinkles stardust, doesn't she, onto the occasion, and I think that's brilliant. And Caroline DeBar turning professional, Chris Jenkins and Rhys Edwards, really good fighters as well from around here, which adds to the Welsh passion, and of course the big one, which is a pick-em and a cracking fight.
Absolutely. The last time there was a fighter called Stephen Robinson on a big Welsh card, it launched a superstar. Was it 30 years ago? Naz Hamed. Eubank needs to be launched tomorrow night.
It's a good link. It's a good link. I was here on that rainy night in the old Cardiff Arms Park, and yeah, Naz was brilliant, and you know, almost embarrassed Steve that night. He was a wonderful fighter, great world champion, the Cinderella man who, you know, had taken the world title at short notice, in 48 hours I think it was, and he had a great reign, and Naz you know, was the new king that night, and yeah, it did launch, you're right, a superstar. And I think with Chris, we're all waiting for that moment. He's 32 now. He's hooked up with Roy Jones Jr. He's obviously had a difficult year last year personally with the loss of Sebastian, which I know hit the whole family hard, and he came back in Newcastle. Now we've got him in a big fight, and I think he needs to deliver. I think it's time, and we'll find out a lot more about him tomorrow night. I think he's promised a lot over the years, but again, you know, there's losses to Billy Joe and to George Groves. He hasn't really sort of hit the heights that I think we all maybe expected that he would. Difficult to compare him to his dad, of course, who was a legend of the sport, but you know, I think Junior has a world title in him, and this could almost be a world championship, him and Liam, but it's a big fight, and you know, he's taking a risk coming down here and putting it all on the line against Liam Williams. He's obviously super confident, and I guess he believes he will shine, but Liam's going to make it very hard for him, and I think he'll leave everything in the ring tomorrow night.
As you mentioned, his age, 33, it's not old by modern standards, but nevertheless, would you say he has to win a world title this year if he's going to reach the superstar?
Well, I think first of all he's got to get past Liam Williams, and then let's see what happens. You know, if it's a barn burner, you know, he might do it again. I mean, I think Chris will want to move on to fight for a world title this year if he wins. So let's have that discussion, you know, at 11 o'clock tomorrow night when we see what happens. But I think at the moment all the focus is on the Motor Point for tomorrow, and Chris has got a job to do. Liam's going to do everything he can. It's his world title really, and so right Williams off at your peril, I think. But Eubank, yeah, he's got a lot of pressure on him to shine.
Do you think is Chris big enough yet to do a stadium fight?
I think it depends on the opponent. He's very big in the sport, obviously. He carries the name and he's carried it well. He's a great guy, Chris Eubank Jr. He's very intelligent. I love his attitude. And I just think, as I said, he just needs that big performance inside the square circle for people just to really understand you know, how good, at least he thinks he's very good. Let's see. And Roy Jones Jr. alongside him, I had a good chat with Roy, and he's very confident. I said, you know, Roy, Chris is not you, and it'd be interesting to see if you've, because he's talking about, oh, there's stuff inside me that I want to get out still. Roy was saying that. And I said, Chris is a different man, a different fighter. Yeah, he was a legend, Roy Jones Jr., very different. So it'd be very interesting to see what he can bring out of Chris. Sort of glimpses of what maybe we can expect in Newcastle a few weeks ago, but this is altogether different. This is a real tough one in front of him, and Liam's classy as well. He can box. He's got Adam Booth in the corner. So as I said, I think it's a tough fight for Eubank Jr. But one, with his skill set, reputation, chin, maybe he should come through.
What do you make of the move to Pensacola with Jones? A common theme in sports, certainly in boxing, is the real great performers don't necessarily make great coaches, because what they can do, it's almost natural talent which they can't teach others.
I think that's right. I think often that's happened in football. I think in other sports, sometimes the best managers, the Shankleys, the Fergusons, they may have been footballers, they may have been at one level, but you're right, the very best footballers. Although Stevie G and maybe Lampard and Rooney are going to change things going forward. But yeah, on the boxing front, look, it's about a relationship. First and foremost, Johnny Nelson will tell you about that. If he didn't have Brendan Ingle, he'd never have done anything in boxing. So you need the right person in your corner. Chris has been through a few different ones, but he obviously feels with Roy that there is a brilliant connection. He says he's learning every day. And Roy, he's been a very successful boxer, athlete. Would he be wasting his time with someone he didn't believe in? So, listen, the proof's in the pudding. We've got to see how it works in the big fights, and we'll find out sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Adam Booth there. He's very confident, so he obviously believes that some of those technical flaws that he's seen in Chris will still be there. Do you think he's the right man to get the correct game plan for Liam to beat Chris?
Again, it's another interesting sort of move, because a move to a new trainer just a few weeks before a massive fight is not often a good thing. Obviously, he learned and had a good stint under Dominic Ingle, but obviously felt he needed to freshen himself up, or maybe get to a new place, and he's done that. Adam is a very intelligent trainer, wily. He'll come up with a game plan, and we'll be able to implement it. Has he had long enough? But I think it's a very interesting move. Obviously, he's got an opening to Chris Eubank Jr., but not for a long time, and Chris will think that's a long time ago. So, yeah, it all adds to the spice and the plot. And there's two big men in the corners tomorrow night who I'm sure will play a part, because I expect a long battle.
Absolutely. And of course, Clarissa, as you said, she was made for this to be a superstar. Building up for a massive showdown with Savannah in the northeast.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. It's a really hard one for me, because I'm very close to Savannah. I spent a lot of time with her over the last decade, and I'm so proud of what she's achieved and where she is. But I just love Clarissa Shields. I think what she's doing for the sport, the personality, the charisma she brings is just fabulous, and it's been wonderful being around her this week. She's got an aura, she's got a magnetism, hasn't she? And I think that can only be good. It's great for female boxing, but just boxing period. I think she wants to do a lot of things in her life. She's got a really tough struggle. And I, as I said, being close to Savannah, I know what she's had to go through. So it's two great boxers, two great athletes, and if they can come through their sort of semi-finals tomorrow, and then again in the spring with Savannah up in Newcastle, then we've got a big fight on for the summer. Huge unification, undisputed titles at middleweight on the line, and remember, Savannah's the only fighter in boxing to beat Clarissa.
It's fair to say Clarissa, probably unlike most female fighters, she's not shy about sort of stoking a bit of needle. She's not going to be too polite with her opponent, so that all adds to the selling of the fight.
But the silent assassin is what Savannah's always called herself, and she's quiet, but she's not. She's a tough character, and you're seeing her personality come out a bit more in the last sort of 2 or 3 years. She's got that phenomenal relationship with Peter Fury, which has really helped, and I think it's a great bond there. I can't wait for that fight to happen. I think it's brilliant that we've got Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. We've been with Katie for a long, long time. I'm very close to Katie as well, and I'm so pleased she's got that big fight with Amanda, and I can't wait for that one. And to have this fight with Clarissa and Savannah in the same year, it just shows where women's boxing has come, and Tasha gets her big chance again in a couple of weeks' time. So yeah, and Caroline, making her professional debut, just starting up, looking up to these wonderful women. So yeah, it's great.
Do you think you could do sort of a seminal fight, i.e. a stadium fight? Could Clarissa and Savannah, could they fill a stadium? Maybe not Wembley, but
yeah. I mean, look, we've done all sorts of different stadium fights over the years. It takes a special fight or fighter to fill 80,000. Just ask Carl Froch. But no, seriously, it's yeah, we've had different ones, haven't we? We've been outdoors in Hull. We've been outdoors in Goodison Park with Tony Bellew, which wasn't full all the way around, but it was the place for him to win his world title, and that was a great occasion. Despite being a Liverpool fan, it was a great occasion for Tony and a wonderful night, probably the night of his life. And I think that you go back to, can Eubank fill a stadium? Of course, for the right fight, the right build-up. We could certainly get a good crowd in, and for Savannah and Clarissa, could we do something at St James's Park? It's a possibility. It's it's an amazing city, Newcastle, for sport. They're so passionate. Should bring a Hartlepool crowd down as well. And I tell you, if Clarissa makes some noise, more noise over the next 3 or 4 months, who knows? But we'll put it in the right place, and whether that's indoor or outdoor, it's a fantastic fight for the sport.
I mean, talking of St James's Park, aren't you dreaming of a world title shot for the big man behind us, Steve Robinson, in a few years?
I mean, I think that's a real dream. I think Steve will tell you that himself. Look, he's a raw novice heavyweight at the moment. He's a great character. He's going to be a lot of fun to work with, and boxing's all about levels, and we'll look at that and see how he goes and take him slowly. It'll be I'm sure English and British sort of level, and see if he can get there or get past it. But one step at a time. He's got a great look. The Ivan Drago thing. I think you need in a stable. We just signed Florian Marku. We've got the likes of Ebony Jones, who's a character, Joe Pinkford. There's all sorts, and the Dazn brothers. It's a nice mix. It's a great blend, and I think that's the important thing. So I don't think Steve Robinson, he'd be standing here today, he wouldn't be calling anyone out on that sort of level. But every fighter's got a dream, and we've seen fighters who we never thought would get to British, European, and world level achieve it. So yeah, look, it's all in front of all of them, and let's see how their talent takes them. And obviously, we'll be behind them in our different ways.
With the World Cup being moved to the winter, is 2022 a perfect year to have a series of summer stadium fights? Yeah,
look, I think there are going to be some big fights. We know that Fury and White's going to land probably in April, maybe here or Wembley. I've heard the London Stadium being talked about, all sorts. So let's wait to see where that one goes. Let's wait to see what happens with Usyk and AJ. Already there you've got 2 heavyweight fights, and if they can go on in Britain, it's fantastic for the fight fans here. Could we have another? Brilliant, happy days. I mean, we all like a little bit of a summer break at some point. I mean, it's pretty relentless, this business, and August tended to be the time where we sort of down tools a bit, but maybe not anymore. It's such a great time for boxing, and we can go all the way through. But yeah, Ben and I will talk about sort of where the big fights can happen, and realistically whether they should be indoor or outdoor, and we'll take it from there. But yeah, we can dream of the big occasions, and I think Anthony Joshua has proven that it's possible. These things are possible. He filled out the Principality twice, for Takam and Parker, and is he a one-off? Probably. But then Tyson Fury coming back, and now the man in the heavyweight division, that's going to be banged out, isn't it, wherever they put that on. So it's just great for boxing, and everyone's got a dream now, and it's wonderful for the kids and the youth. And I was just talking to some of the young who are here today supporting Liam Williams, and a 10-year-old kid, maybe I'll be a boxer, and it's just great that they've got these role models now, both in the men's world and the women's world in our sport. So yeah, I mean, I'm a massive advocate of women's boxing, have been for a long time. Probably ever since Johnny Nelson and I were at the Olympics for that fantastic atmosphere and fight between Katie and Tasha, the original fight. And after that, working with Savannah, I've got really into it and behind the ladies. But let's not forget the men as well, because we've got some real potential coming through. Fraser Clark turns professional in Manchester. The Dazn brothers are on that card too. So there's there's a lot to look out for, and obviously there's huge prospects on the other side, on Dazn and on BT as well. Jordan Thompson's one I'm really looking forward to seeing his development. I've said for a long time I think he's one of the best kept secrets in boxing. He's a good-looking guy. He can talk, he can fight. He's unbeaten, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Jordan progresses. And there are many others, like Ellie Scottney and others on other channels, and likes of the Okolis and Boatsis. There's loads that we work with that are not with us anymore. So, good luck to them on Dazn on their journey. Galal Yafai, another one who I think the world of, I think is fantastic. And Eddie beat us to sign him, and congratulations. And I think that's a good signing, a really good signing for Eddie. I think Galal's going to be a world champion sooner rather than later. I don't think it's going to take long. I think he's a fantastic fighter. Eddie's got a lot of connections around his weight, so I expect big things from Galal Yafai, but I expect big things from Sky and Boxer and Top Rank as well. Michaela Mayer over this week has been a pleasure to be around. I think she's another one like Clarissa, who's just got star quality all over her. And watch this space for hopefully more announcements coming soon.
Just you mentioned there AJ. Any update on his broadcast situation?
I've always said that I think Anthony Joshua will stay with Sky. We've got a wonderful relationship with Sky and AJ's team, Freddie Cunningham and Andy Bell and all the guys and girls at 258. And I think Anthony, look, he's obviously been a superstar and probably could have done it, without us, but we've done it together, and it's probably made him even bigger. So he's been a great ambassador for Sky. I love working with him. I love having him around. We've had some fantastic press conferences at Sky HQ. I think he's proud to be part of the Sky Sports brand, and negotiations are going on. It came to the end of the deal, and let's see where we go from here. But I'm very confident he'll stay with us. I think that he knows what Sky does for him. We know what he does for Sky, and it's a great relationship. And why wouldn't you want to be on the best platform in the UK? And I have full confidence that Anthony will be part of us for a long, long time.
Okay, well, Adam, we won't look too far ahead because we've got plenty in February alone to look forward to. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for speaking to the Boxing Voice.
No problem at all.
See you
Good
tomorrow night.
You. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.